Today we are starting new stories. We are stopping the Panchatantra right now, and we will continue later after in September again. And now we are going to start some new stories, and Saiji is going to give you all the stories, and around close to the 4 stories he is going to give today and tomorrow. And I'll request Saiji to explain it and then start a story. Saiji, namaste. Please take over.
Namaste. Thank you, everybody. And very good to see all the kids again. And it was very good blessings because of you. I also was able to listen to the Churnika a little bit. I will go and learn it. And I am ready to admit I don't know the Churnika. I will learn it. And it is very, very good that you guys are all able to learn it at such an young age. I hope that and pray to Kamakshi that all of you will grow up to learn such great verses as Mukha Panchashati and get Kamakshi Kadaksham all the time. So today we will do 2 stories and tomorrow we'll do 2 stories. The first story is a short one. It's about the crows and the swan. The theme of the story is learning self-awareness and being aware of one's limitations and not being arrogant. So let's start the story. Near the banks of the ocean, against the sound of the roaring waves, there lived a rich merchant. He was a very kind man. He was kind to animals. He was kind to strangers. He gave food to people in need, and he had many sons. He was feeding a crow every single day. Normally, crows are very good creatures. Your parents or your grandparents, you might have seen them feed crows. It's a good habit. They keep the neighborhood clean. And crows have a really good habit that they share food with other crows. Normally, they're very good creatures. But this crow was a bit different. His sons, and you can see how, his sons fed the crow with fatty yogurt, meat, and sweets. Who has heard of a crow? I'm sure you've seen people put out cooked rice balls for the crows. But this crow, it got fat on all kinds of food. And it was not just the body that grew with the food. The crow's ego was growing equally big. The crow, over time, felt it had no equal. It decided that it was the best bird in town. One day, there appeared some beautiful white birds in the area. They were Hamsa Pakshis. Pakshi means bird in Sanskritam. Hamsas kind of look like swans, so that's the closest that we have. They are graceful creatures. They could separate milk from water. Hamsas are mentioned in the Vedas, and Hamsas are actually considered equivalent to souls, things like that. Now, the crow is in such illustrious company. Contrast the fat black crow against the beautiful graceful swan. But the crow has no idea what he looks like. He has never seen himself in the mirror. And some of you might be wondering, if you're asking me, have you looked at yourself in the mirror? Yeah, I have. I can see myself in the video. I know my hair is a mess. I have decided that I will not cut my hair till COVID is gone. So I know, right? But this crow had no clue. It had no clue that it had grown fat. At least I haven't grown fat, right, in the COVID times. But Hamsas are graceful creatures, not prone to bragging. The rich man's kids talk to the crow. Often, rich folks are insensitive to these kinds of things, and these kids are no exception. I hope none of you are insensitive to others, and you always put yourself in others' shoes and think about what the other person is feeling. So these rich kids tell the crow, look, the Hamsa Pakshis think they are experts at flying. I am sure you can fly even better. Why don't you show them how it is done? Normally, crows and ravens are very, very smart creatures. I'm sure you've heard of the stories about how crows drop stones when they cannot reach water, so the water level comes up. It's real. Crows are one of the smartest birds around. Our scientific studies have shown ravens are probably the best at using tools among the kingdom of birds. But of course, this crow had grown fat and happy on a free diet, and the words of the rich kids got to its head. It scanned all the Hamsapakshis and identified what it felt was the strongest and the best Hamsapakshi. It went and challenged the bird to a flying race. Come, let's see who is better at flying. The Hamsapakshis laughed out loud on hearing these words. They told the crow, we live in Lake Manasarovar all the way in the Himalayas. That's Mount Kailash in the background, and that's the Himalayas. And if you know anything about the map of India, Himalayas is quite far from the beaches. So the Hamsapakshis had flown all the way from the mountains to the beach. They say, we can obviously fly quite far effortlessly. You are a foolish crow full of false ego. How can you keep up with us flying? The foolish crow listens to all of this. But you remember how fast Rama's arrow went through Taraka's heart? And we said it went in an instant, it split through. Like that, the Hamsapakshi's good words went in one ear and out the other ear that fast. Nothing went in the head of the crow. It started making fun of the Hamsapakshis. Now, this crow happened to know Tamil, so it said, Saval Wodrenda Nanne, Saval Wodrenda Hamsa, Saval Wodrenda Pakshi, Saval Wodrenda, Mela Parapenda Nanne, Kila Parapenda Nanne, Saitla Parapenda, Saval Wodrenda Nanne, Saval Wodrenda. So it called the Pakshis for a challenge. Saval means challenge. Says, I can fly up, I can fly down, I can even fly upside down. I can fly sideways, I can fly like you, I can fly like them, I can fly fast, I can fly so, I can fly in circles. Why? I can fly all the way to the moon. Come over, all of you Hamsapakshis, I will show you how it is done. Think long and hard. Tell me how you want to see me fly. That's the challenge. See if you're ready to accept the challenge. The strong Hamsapakshi said, I only know one way to fly. You fly any way you want to get here. The crows around started making fun of the Hamsapakshi. The arrogant crow showed off all his flying skills. It said, folks, there has never been such a spectacular show of flying done anywhere by any bird. Believe me, my flying is just perfect. I have made flying great again. The other crows were so impressed by the speech, they were ready to elect this crow the president, and they made a lot of noise. Finally, the Hamsapakshi took flight. It spread its wings barely a flutter, riding the gentle air streams gracefully. With barely a flicker of its wings, a little twist of its tail feather, it made turns and took off towards the ocean. The flying was so graceful, so mesmerizing, it appeared so effortless, everyone assumed it was flying really slow. The crow followed, flapping its wings like crazy and yapping its mouth with idle chatter. like the noise made by a vessel half full of water. You don't believe me? Take two parts. Fill one part full of water, the other one half full of water. Walk with both the parts, one at a time, and see which one makes more noise. The water noise. The part will make all kinds of noise. Just like that, someone who is learned, the Hamsa Pakshi who is really strong, knows what flying is, doesn't have any chatter. It just keeps flying. The crow that is only half full of knowledge about flying is a chatterbox. On top, the Hamsa spread its majestic wings, and the sleek neck barely resisted the air. In no time, they had flown far into the sea, and the crow spotted a small boat and landed on it. The Hamsa, flying above, asked, that's a very interesting way to fly. When you boasted about your flying skills, about flying up, flying down, flying sideways, you never spoke about flying sitting on a boat. The crow admitted, I'm very tired. I can't fly anymore. The Hamsa replied, wow, you said you were going to win. That is some winning. You said you were definitely going to win this flying competition. What a way to win. I am so impressed. The crow was getting worried now. He is way in the middle of the ocean. And what if the fisherman comes back and chases him out of the boat? Where is he going to go? Told Hamsa, please, Hamsa Pakshi. Now my life is all in your hands. I don't know what to do if I am chased from this little boat as well. Please save me. The Hamsa Pakshi agreed to carry the crow on its back and brought it back to the land. As you reflect on this story, think about what it feels like when you make a mistake, or when you're saying something ignorant, arrogant, or stupid. When you make a claim like this Hamsa Pakshi, that like this crow that you can beat Hamsa Pakshi at flying, do you think it feels bad? No. Bad is what you feel when you are stuck on the boat and you don't know how to get back. Bad is what you feel when you take the next step and you are flying off this hill. But when you step off of the edge of the hill, you're like this guy. You're happy, confident. You feel great. When you make a mistake, it doesn't feel bad. It feels great. You make mistakes when you're overconfident, right? And you have no fear. At the moment of the mistake, you are on top of the world. That's why arrogance comes. Very important to know your own limitations and stay within yourself. One of my favorite slokams is Vishnu Shatpathi, and it starts like this: Avinayam apanaya Vishnu Dhamaya mana shamaya mrigadrishnam Bhutadhayam vistaraya Taraya samsara sagarataha. The very first request in the shloka is Abhinayam Apanaya Vishnu. Apanaya means take away. Vishnu. You call Bhagavan Mahavishnu and you ask, please take away my Avinayam. Vinayam is humbleness. Avinayam is opposite of that, which is arrogance. Okay? So, very important to be within yourself and not to overextend yourself. Avinayam is the first step towards any kind of progress in life. And we are all in the path of Dharma. We just learned Kamakshi Churnika. And when you have Kamakshi's Kataksham, in order to even get Kamakshi's Kataksham, you cannot have any Avinayam, any arrogance. The first step is to have Vinayam, then you will get Kamakshi's Kataksham. Okay? Now let's go to the second story.
A question.
Yes.
Is it Avinayam or Abhinayam?
Avinayam, V, not B. Not B as in ball. It's
Okay.
P as in.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question too.
Yes.
The question is that white bird, what is that bird called?
Hamsa. Hamsa Pakshi.
Oh.
Okay. All right. So the second story is about two rishis. Okay. Once upon a time, there were two brothers, Shanka and Likita. Shanka was the elder brother and Likita was the younger brother. They were munis and they used to live in their ashramams on the banks of the river Vahuda, just like this. One day, the younger brother, Likita, went to Shanka's ashramam and he didn't find his brother. So he sat under a mango tree. He started eating one of its mangoes, but he didn't ask permission of the owner of the tree. The owner of the tree was Shankar. Shankar returned to the ashramam and found Likita eating the mangoes. Shankar then told Likita that you must never take things that do not belong to you. He said, you should have eaten the mango only after taking my permission. He further told Likita to go to the king, Sudyumna, tell him the mistake that you made, and ask for the appropriate punishment according to Dandaniti Shastram. Shastram is Pramana. Shastram, it means it's the laws of our religion. Niti Shastram is laws. Dandaniti, danda means punishment. So according to it, what should be the punishment for stealing? Likita listens to the words of his brother and immediately goes to King Sudyumna. The king warmly welcomes the rishi, and upon being asked the reason for coming, Likita says what happens. That he ate a mango without asking his brother's permission and begs the king for punishment. The king knows all the Dharmasastras. He replied, O great Muni, you leave all the pleasures of normal humans and do tapas for the welfare of everyone. How can I give you punishment? Likita replies, saying that a king must never deviate from his duty, and hence he must punish him regardless of his status. The law should apply to everybody, right? Even the king or the greatest of the rishis equally. The king finally accepts and orders that according to Dharma Shastra, the punishment for stealing mango must be that Likita's hands must be cut off. That's what Dandaniti says. Likita then returned to Shanka and after experiencing the punishment, Shanka was very happy to see his brother and said, "Oh Putra, you did such a good thing. Because of you, our entire Vamsham will be saved. Go take a dip in the Bahudha Nadi and do Deva, Muni, Pitru, Tarpanam and come." Devas are people in the upper world, right? Munis are rishis and Pitru are our ancestors. Okay? Any of you who have a Punal, you would have done Kanda Rishi Tarpanam. You would have also done Brahma Yajnam. And during a Brahma Yajnam, you would do Deva, Rishi, Pitru Tarpanam. And you might have done, or you might have seen your father or your older brothers do it in the family. So like that, he says, go to Bahudha Nadi and do it. Brahma Yajnam is supposed to be done every day. So he said, go do this. Surapanam Guru Bharya Vyamoham Viprahatya Vipradhana Apaharam And having sneham with these four kinds of people are pancha mahapatakas, 5 kinds of great sins: drinking alcohol, being mean to your teacher, killing someone who donates you things, you stealing from someone, are all things, and being friends with these kinds of people are all great sins. You have now become a punyatma. Punyam means you have become a pure soul because you have experienced dandam, the punishment from the Raja or the king. Now go. Lakita immediately goes and takes a dip in the Bahudanati. And to his surprise, sees that when he gets in, the hands magically appeared. Are you thinking that's not going to happen? Okay, I'll tell you a little short story about something that my guru saw. He said he once saw a man walk around a temple and he brought a pot and he dumped the pot. The pot was half full of sand and half full of sugar. Everybody was just looking at this and it was strange. He said, why is it half full of sand and half full of sugar? He said, Swami came in my dream last night, told me to go to the river, take a dip, bring the pot half full of sand. I said, why is Swami asking me to fill the pot only half full with sand? It's just sand, it's free. And I filled it all the way. I didn't realize that the half that I brought will turn into sugar by magic, and the remaining half stayed as sand. And he said, I didn't listen to Swami's words. I don't want my tongue, and he cut off his tongue. He said he saw that man go around the temple, and when he came back, his tongue was back. This was a story that I was amazed when I heard this. So when great people tell you to do certain things, there is no amazement that he got his hands back. In Kali Yuga, we get tongues grow back. I don't think there is anything, any surprise that in the times of the rishis, their hands grow back. Knowing that the hands came back due to the power of Shankara, he goes back and asks his brother, if you have so much power, why did you ask me to go to the king for punishment? Why couldn't you have given it? The elder brother said, everybody must do his own duty. Our duty as rishis is to do tapas, homas, and yajnas for the benefit of the society. And the king's duty is to punish the bad. Hence he said he had no right to punish his younger brother. This story is not just another story or another myth. This story was told by Sri Vedavyasa Bhagavan to Dharmapalaka Dharmaraja Yudhishthira when he was worried that during Mahabharata, all the relatives, friends are going to be killed in the great Yuddham or great war. So, Vedavyasa Bhagavan says, Dushtas must be punished. The duty of the king is to do that. So there is nothing wrong in Yudhishthira doing the Mahabharata Yuddham to kill the bad. Now, the Pandavas were actually very good people. Arjuna was similarly conflicted, and luckily for us, because he was conflicted, we have been given the great Bhagavad Gita. And Dharma is doing the right thing. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. What that means is, Dharma protects those who uphold and protect the Dharma. What are the big morals of these stories? Number one, respect the elders. Though sometimes their words may seem harsh, it's a very important aspect of the Indian culture. The younger brother always respected his elder brother and adhered to his words. Also, the elder brother always wanted the good of his younger brother. Right? He did not pamper him. He didn't neglect the little mistake and said, it's okay, it's just a mango, it's just very small. He told them, they are rishis. Rishis are supposed to uphold the law and be an example to everybody. If the rishis do the wrong thing and they ignore that stuff, then what can they expect the rest of the regular people to do? Everyone in the story performed their duties. The sages did tapas, the king did dharma palanam, which means that establishment of the dharma. The younger brother listened to the elder brother, and the elder brother always thought about the good of the younger one. One has to experience the results of one's own karma one time or another time. You guys remember the story of Harishchandra? All the sufferings that he did, and he realized overnight that was the result of the karma from his previous birth. In Tamil they say, Ulvanai uruttu vandu buttum. Whatever karma that you have done will always catch up with you. What goes around comes around is another way they say that, right? Knowing this, the elder brother asked his younger brother to experience the punishment given by the king quickly rather than postpone it. What happens when you postpone the punishment? There is no moksham possible. What happens when you make a mistake and you just hide it? You have to come back. It's impossible to attain moksham when you have knowingly committed a sin. You will have to come back, right? Stealing, knowingly or unknowingly, results in big papam. For stealing one mango, the two being a rishi, this punishment was as severe as cutting off the hands. The bad result of stealing, even by mistake, is well illustrated in many stories, right? So they say when you go to a temple, you cannot bring even a little thing out of the temple, right? So no matter what situation you are in, whether you are rich, you're poor, you could be materially rich, but on a given day, you might be stuck with no money, the ATM doesn't work, no cash on hand, nobody accepts credit card, and you're hungry. You can't go to steal. Okay? You can ask. You can ask someone to give you what you want and then take it, but you cannot steal. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
So what does karma, moksha mean?
Okay. Karma and moksha. Moksha is freedom from the cycle of birth and death. So we all believe in Sanatana Dharma. What Sanatana Dharma says is all of us are take birth, we die, and we come back again. Just like we go to bed and we wake up. Moksha is the process of being relieved from this cycle of birth and death. And what Sanatana Dharma says is that from one birth to the next birth, our karma follows us. And karma is the fruits of our action. When we take Manusha Janma, when we are all born as humans, like we are, it is because it's a miracle. Remember, I told you during Ramayana, the miracle of human birth. All of you are miracles because you did good deeds in so many janmas. That is why you have taken this human birth. That is why you have taken the birth where at such a young age, without you taking any effort, Kamakshi is coming to you in the form of Churnika. Okay? Ask your own parents if they got exposed to Kamakshi Churnika. Ask everybody around the world who are stuck in the hospital with COVID. Okay? None of them even might have heard of Kamakshi Churnika. You are all very blessed. So you've taken a very special birth. And this birth is due to, and all this luck is due to the good karma that you have done from the previous birth. So some of the bad karmas also will come with us, and it gives us some of the trouble. So the bad karmas that I had done was the reason why I didn't know Kamakshi Churnika existed, right? So Sharmaji talked about how Every day, 3 times Pariva, when they finishes the puja, they chant the Churnika. I was there. I don't even remember hearing 2 words of the Churnika. I saw the puja like 4 times around this time last year, just about 1 year back, but I don't remember. So obviously it went in 1 year and out the other as fast as Rama's arrow went through Taraka, right? So at least hopefully this time it sinks in and I remember the stuff, right? It's not just a sloka, right? Don't think of this as just a Kamakshi sloka. That's Kamakshi's Kataksham. And that is so difficult to get. And you guys are all blessed to even be exposed to it. All you need is Kamakshi's just a look out of the corner of her eyes. If she looks for just a second, we will be on our path to moksha. Okay? Let me say a short prayer to Kamakshi. Mataha kshanam snapaimam tava vikshitene mandakshitene sujanaihi aparokshitene Kamakshim karma timirotkara bhaskarene shreyaskarene madhubatyuti taskarene. So pray for Kamakshi's kataksham for all of you, that you all grow up to be really, really great individuals with full of Kamakshi kataksham. Okay? I will see you all tomorrow.
Who cut Lakita's hands off? Lakita.
Oh, the king's punishment head. So the king usually has someone who meets out all the punishments. So it's a very, very difficult job. The king doesn't mete out the punishment directly. He would have somebody from his army who will have the really difficult job of executing the punishment. Yes.
We covered the first few verses, I think, in the last weekend. So as we explained, this is where like a serenade on Ambal. So whenever she is brought in, we hail her glory. So that's the way this is chanted in the Matam. So what we will do is we also have the recording as to how they actually sing this in the Madam. So we will play that and then I will repeat it also. So that way it's more clear for you. So we'll do the first 2 verses which we covered earlier that way. And then the next verse we will do word by word. Okay. So this we finished already last week. So I will play the audio and then I will repeat it twice. Okay. For further understanding. Okay, so this is where we praise Lord Ambal. So the energy has to be that way. So try this is the format in which they sing. So whoever is possible, try to sing in the same tune whenever you are trying to chant this sloka. Okay, if not, otherwise just you can chant the words. But if you can follow this tune, that would be well and good. Okay. Shri Chandramaulishwaraya Namaha. Shri Kamakshi Devyai Namaha. Jaya Jaya Shri Kamagirindra Nilaye. Jaya Jaya Shri Kamakoti Pithasthite. Okay. One more time. Shri Chandramaulishwaraya Namaha. Shri Kamakshi Devyai Namaha. Jaya Jaya Shri Kamagirindra Nilaye. Jaya Jaya Shri Kamakoti Peethasthite. Okay, so hopefully you get, if you the way you split it is also there, so you can, the meaning is also there. If you go through the meaning, that will also help you to chant it well. Okay, I'll play the audio one more time before we move on to the next verse. Okay, so you can understand it better. So this is the next verse. This also I think we covered, but we will do it again. So I'll play the audio first so you can hear it, and then we will go word by word. Okay, so let's try to repeat it now. Wherever the hyphen is, that's where you split the words, so it becomes more easier to say it. Okay. Jaya Jaya Shri Trichatvarimshat Kona Shri Chakrantarala Bindu Pitho Parilasat Pancha Brahmamaya Mancha Madhyastha Shri Shivakamesha Vamankanilaya. Jaya Jaya Shri Trichatvarimshat Kona Shri Chakrantarala Bindu Pitho Parilasat Pancha Brahmamaya Mancha Madhyastha Shri Shivakamesha Vamankanilaya. Okay, hope it's more clear now. We'll play it once and then move on to the new one. Okay. Okay, so this is the new one. Again, wherever it's split, we will split the word, so it's also it's not such a long word, long verse, so it's easy for you to understand. Jaya 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 Shri Vidhi Harihara Harihara Suragana Vandita Charanaaravinda Yugale. That's how it's played. So I'll play the audio and then I will chant it, I'll repeat it twice. So you also repeat it at that so that it becomes familiar to you. Okay? Okay. Jaya Jaya Shri Vidhi Harihara Suraganda Vandita Charanaaravinda Yugale. Jaya Jaya Shri Vidhi Harihara Suragana Vandita Charanaaravinda Yugale. So we'll hear one more time and then chant it together. Okay, so there is a continuity there. Okay. Okay. Jaya Jaya Srimad Rama Vanindrani Pramukharamani Karakamala Samarpita Charana Kamale. Jaya Jaya Srimad Rama Vanindrani Pramukharamani Karakamala Samarpita Charana Kamale. Okay, so we'll hear it and then do it again. Jaya Jaya Shri Vidhi Harihara Suragana Vandita Charanaaravinda Yugale. Jaya Jaya Srimad Rama Vanindrani Pramukharamani Karakamala Samarpita Charana Kamale. Jaya Jaya Shri Vidhi Harihara Suragana Vandita Charanaaravinda Yugale. Jaya Jaya Srimad Rama Vanindrani Mukharamani Karakamala Samarpita Charana Kamale. Okay, let's listen to it one more time and then we will do the next verse tomorrow. Okay. Ram Ram.
Thank you, Gayatri ji.
Ram Ram.
Ram Ram. Actually, this Chudnika in end of the Chandramolishwar Puja in morning and evening and afternoon, all 3 times. After end of the puja and the Harati over, you Swamiji, when this Chudnika goes and Swamiji puts hands like this and he sits in front of the Chandramolishwara. So complete Chudnika time, he recites and he put a hand like this in front of the Chandramolishwara and